Welcome to 2-Bit Gaming. Today's topic, the Atari 2600. Here it is, the Atari 2600. It was released in 1977, so it's older than I am. This little switch-covered, wood-paneled piece of gaming history is what everyone thinks of first when they hear the name Atari. Just to put it into perspective, it has a switch to choose between color and black and white. I guess it was for those who thought color was just a fad but still wanted to play video games. Back in the day, the words Atari and video games were basically interchangeable. I remember when I was a kid, I could be playing anything, Nintendo or Sega systems, and my dad would walk in and he would always say, "Playing Atari, huh?" I'd be like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm playing Atari." Now, back in the early days of gaming, this was the system to own. Sure, it wasn't the first, and there were others like it, such as the Coleco and the Intellivision, but if you were into gaming, this was the system. Your best friend had one, your cousins had one, your Sunday school teacher had one. Hell, it seemed like everybody had an Atari. And since it has this nice wood paneling, it really matched your crappy 70s TV. It reached pop culture status, but for gamers, this was a sweet system back in the day. It had all the popular arcade games, and for the time, the graphics looked pretty good. Although, for some reason, Pac-Man looked like crap. The 2600 has some sweet games, too. It had Combat, Donkey Kong, Missile Command, Space Invaders, it had Pitfall, and let's not forget about Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. It was really just a ripoff of Defender, set during the iconic Ice Planet scene, and it was just an endless battle with Imperial walkers, but I remember being Luke Skywalker. Playing Pong with a buddy was a blast. Not only did you have these sweet paddles, but no matter how intense the game was, you could still hold a conversation. You know, I guess that was what was great about the Atari 2600. The games were simple, but fun. Plus, anybody could play. I mean, look at the controller. It has a joystick and one button. Compared to the learning curve of today's games, this was like gaming on training wheels. By 1983, the Atari 2600 was full of crap. For every good game that came out, there were 10 poopsicles, and the public was starting to get wise. The entire industry collapsed and wouldn't recover for years, but the 2600 is still loved today. This was sold recently as an all-in-one Atari system, with the games built in. It works pretty well, but I noticed that a lot of my favorite games aren't included. The controllers are the same, but you can't put your old game cartridges in it. If you want the Atari experience but you can't find a vintage system, it'll work. It's time for Kane's 2 Bits! 1. The Atari 2600 is awesome. 2. If you have one, play it. If you don't, get one. You can't be a hardcore gamer without it. That's my 2 bits. If you have any thoughts on today's topic, please leave a comment or a video response. As always, I'm your humble 2-bit gamer. Thanks for watching.